Hey there, Storm fans. Bryant Cook, and I am joined today by the one and only TonyScapone. Tony, how's it going?
Good, man. How about you?
Not too bad. So, you messaged me about this, the Epic Gamble. Tony, did I lease you the Epic name? What happened?
You did it actually. It cost a lot of money to get this in the title. So thanks for no. Originally with the Epic Ruby Storm, I kind of mashed together two decks, so it adopted a lot of things from the Epic Storm. So I thought it was only appropriate to give it the name. Seemed to make sense to me.
Yeah. And this deck list looks like it's, still inching closer to the Epic Storm. We have main deck defense grids now. We have Mox Opals. But then there's some pretty different cards like Shatterskull Smashing, which is probably fairly unique to this list. And then the namesake of this deck, Gamble. We have 3 Gamble in the main, 1 in the board. Tell us a little bit about that.
What, Shatterskull or Gamble?
Let's start with Gamble.
So Gamble is really what makes this deck, spin. It's there really to primarily abuse Echo of Eons, which is kind of the primary engine for the deck. The idea is to just dump your hand and then cast Gamble for Echo. So it's kind of Echo, 4 through 6 in the deck and spin that wheel.
I love spinning the wheel. But there's a wheel that is missing from this deck list, Reforge the Soul. Is Gamble the slot that Reforge used to be? Where did that go? What happened to Reforge?
Pretty directly just got slided out for Galvanic Relay. Galvanic Relay is a lot more lower to the ground, which is what this deck is looking to do. The deck doesn't necessarily get up to 5 mana quite as reliably. Certainly post wheeling a number of times, hopefully to get up to 5 to cast Horn, and sometimes we do, just not as much as the previous build did. And it's not running Ruby anymore, so we're not reducing the cost. It's just not necessarily what the deck is looking to do anymore.
Yeah, for sure. So I will say this. There's 2 things I really like about Galvanic Relay main deck in this list. So the first is that with only 4 copies of Defense Grid, you are running less protection than other Storm decks, but you make up for it by running an essentially uncounterable Storm engine with Galvanic Relay. The other thing that Relay does is it doesn't actually draw cards. So if I was looking to beat this deck, I'd think, hey, Narset, Leovold, Hull Breacher effects are really good because they run 4 copies of Echo of Eons in the 75 and then a Reforge in the board. Well, Galvanic Relay just completely sidesteps that. I mean, Burgi always has, but now you have a secondary engine that also does it.
Yeah. I mean, in fact, just the 3 engines really are either Echo, Horn, or Relay. And Echo, we tend to go off and use, or at least the idea is before those cards come online, that Narset, Leovold, and the like. And then Relay and Horn just play around it directly.
Yeah. There's also Faithless Looting, which is another card that is affected by those draw stoppers. Can you tell us a little bit about why Faithless Looting is in this deck list?
Well, the deck, like previously said, really wants to dump its hand so that it wants to go Hellbent. It feels like Infernal Tutor almost to cast Gamble, and Looting allows us to kind of typically you think of looting, you think of card disadvantage, and that's not necessarily the case if you have Echo Eons in your hand, and if you have multiple lands in your hand and you just want to be able to go Hellbent and cast your Gamble, it's just what you need, and then it's a bonus that you can flash it back. So
all right, so my next question for you. There's a card from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, the latest and greatest Magic the Gathering set, Wish. I recorded a video with Ruby. I think I played 3 Wish in that video. You're all the way down to 1. What are your thoughts and impressions as the Ruby master on Wish?
It's a great card. Any list that we're running a Ruby Medallion, I would recommend, and I have liked at least 2. I feel like 3 might just be too much. And I've played actually more matches with even the Epic Gamble with 2 Wishes than the 1 here, to give it the honest try, and it's just a little bit too clunky. But even 1, we do get the 2 most important things is 1, we do increase our density of Wishes, our direct line to our win con, and 2, we now have 2 different cards to get there. So post board, we don't have to be bringing in Grape Shot just in fear of surgical on our Burning Wish, so we're a little more resilient there. There's obviously some added cute scenarios in which we can play various cards out of our sideboard that aren't sorceries. I mean, most of our stuff that we want to get is sorcery anyways, but there are things that come up, certainly.
Yeah. I think something that just like should be pointed out, and you sort of touched upon it with surgical, was that it's not named Burning Wish, which means effects like Meddling Mage. While rare in Legacy do see some play in decks like Esper Hate Bears or Esper Vile, if that's what you'd like to call it, and Wish just completely sidesteps that, and I'm a pretty big fan.
Or even Sanctum Peladon too. It used to just be lights out for that deck if it came up in game 1.
Yeah. All right. So, Tony, I'd like to circle back to a card that I brought up in the beginning and we sort of danced around until now. Shatterskull Smashing. Why? Yeah. Explain it. Explain it like I'm 5.
Well, first of all, it's modal, like much of this deck, which is awesome. That kind of goes with that theme. It can be a land or it can be a removal piece, which certainly comes up. Being able to remove Narset or even just multiple Hate Bears, which is pretty cool. But really the idea here is it also imprints the Chrome Mox. And it was less important with the Epic Ruby Storm because the Epic Ruby Storm, as far as its issues with Chrome Mox, was more so about openers. And that's certainly the case with the Epic Gamble. But this deck draws 7 a lot. Like the Epic Ruby Storm drew 7 a lot, but this deck draws a lot, and relies on it too. Like you'll draw 7, 3, 4, 5 times, and you cannot afford to be drawing hands that have multiple lands. So this really helps smooth that out. Even if we run a relay line, we're bound to flip a Chrome Mox, and just drawing any colored card turns that Chrome Mox, on further, even more so than if you just have a Bergie in play. The card's been very, very solid. I've been happy with it. We go off. I mean, I had a small sample size of 30 something or so matches, and our wins were going off on turn 1 and turn 2 north of 70% of the time. So once I started seeing those numbers, I said the life loss is it's more important to smooth out our Chrome Mox, right?
Yeah, I also like that it's a removal spell, which is a little bit strange, but 4 mana to kill Thalia is better than Burning Wish into something else, right? Like just having main deck removal. You mentioned Sanctum Prelate, those awkward Meddling Mages. It doesn't answer Gaddock Teeg, but Gaddock Teeg doesn't see play anyway. So it does kill creatures, and I mean, in a pinch, there's always Stopping Delver. I don't know how common that is, but it could theoretically buy you a turn or 2.
Ragavan, yep.
So Tony,
it kills a lot of stuff.
Is there anything else you would like to cover in the main deck before we head over to the sideboard?
I guess one recent change has been to go for the 3-2 split with Ancient Tomb and City of Traders. I've actually not yet done this up until this past week, just to mitigate a little bit with the life loss.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't imagine that's going to be a very impactful change, but a few percentages here or there, that's fine.
Sure.
So the first card struck me as very odd, if I'm being honest, and that's Fragmentize. So theoretically, this deck has traditionally had an issue with Deafening Silence, but before we went live, you told me it's not really for Deafening Silence. And the card you mentioned, I was sort of shocked by. What was it, Tony?
Leyline of the Void. I mean, it has very wide application. It's efficient. It only costs 1. It is certainly very good against Deafening Silence, and it is possible that they wind up with 2 Leyline of the Voids. But it can be gambled for at very low cost in terms of mana. If it is a Deafening Silence that you're trying to remove, it's just super efficient at doing that. I, for a while, had the 3rd Blast Zone in place of it. It did feel a little bit awkward having 3. I don't know. It's probably the least tested card in this 75, but I have been pretty happy with it.
I will say this. I was a fan of the Blast Zones, and I still am. When I saw you playing it, I mentioned it in a Modern video where I was considering Blast Zone as an answer to some hate pieces because I wanted an uncounterable answer. And I then saw you playing it in Ruby, and I was like, yes, someone else thinks that this has potential. So I was pretty excited to see you playing Blast Zone.
Yeah, it's overperformed
Being uncounterable also means that it's good against the control decks. So you have something similar to Abrupt Decay now in Mono Red, where they're not going to be able to answer, if they play a turn 2 Canonist, you now just have this uncounterable answer to it, which is very nice.
Yeah, that's been one of the added bonuses. It's really good against miracles because you want land drops anyways. They do occasionally run Deafening Silence, so you have an answer to it that they can't interact with. They tend to not be able to interact with it at all, like you said. And then putting it up on 3 gets rid of most of what you're worried about from them.
Yeah. So a quick side note, seeing the Fragmentize in this list, and I don't know what triggered it in my memory, but it reminded me of the old Burning Long decks from when I was a kid that used to run a 1 of Simplify in the board for Burning Wish. And I don't know why Fragmentize made me think of it, but I just thought I'd share that fun little tidbit. If you don't know what Simplify is, it's 1 green for a sorcery, and it says each player sacrifices an enchantment. I don't know why, but it just made me think of that. All right, so Echo of Eons in the board has been pretty stock. Same thing with Peer into the Abyss, but Tony, you've circled back to Tendrils of Agony. What was the decision there?
I've actually come back to it for a while now. I know you had mentioned something about it, I think a few weeks ago or something to me as like a surprising thing, but I had been running it for like a good month or so, even before that. When we had 2 grape shots, it made sense. But basically ever since Wish came out, I think even before that I'd come back to it. It's just, it's good. I didn't realize just how many, because you don't always think of it, right? If you're trying to evaluate a card when you don't have it in your deck, it's very difficult to do that. And oftentimes we're in scenarios where we would still win because we'd wind up drawing 7, but if we had the tendrils, we could have just killed them. So, and now that I have the card, it's made me realize again just how often that does come up. It's nice to be able to kill your opponent rather than have a chance to kill them. It has some other corner case applications as well. But certainly, that's really with the Epic Ruby Storm. But with this deck specifically, we draw 7 a lot. We tend to go up, on average, we go up on mana every time we do it. And at some point we wind up with a Wish in our hand, an LED, enough mana, some black, and we just kill them, rather than drawing 7 again. Even if it's just after the first. A lot of times you draw 7 that first time and boom, you got just enough mana now and you don't have to worry about Storm.
So I did notice something about this deck list. So when you were talking about Tendrils, I looked to see if you were still on Manamorphose, because in my last Ruby Storm video, I mentioned how Manamorphose just continually underperforms in this deck. You are not playing it either. Have you found any issues with not being able to cast Tendrils without Manamorphose?
No, not at all. That was it was more so to help cast Echo. With the Epic Ruby Storm, that might still be true. I don't know. I wouldn't fault anyone for not running Manamorphose or running it. But with this deck, we're playing a higher density of opals, and for the most part, we're just dumping our hand. We either have LED in our hand and we're gambling for Echo, or we have Echo and we are taking an actual gamble for LED. Either way, we tend to not. Very rarely do we need blue up front to front side Echo out of our hand or something like that. Okay,
so to speed up this deck tech a little bit, because we are going a hair long, our next row or 2 of cards are pretty stock. Chain Lightning's clean up creatures. Gamble, we talked about why it was so great in the main deck. Obviously you want an extra one in the board, search up Echo or Lion's Eye Diamond. It also can get your sideboard Blast Zone, so if you boarded that in, you can go gamble for it. Shattering Spree, Chalice of the Void, Trinisphere, all that good stuff. Grape Shot, Empty the Warrens, Relay, Piff, Reforge, these are all fairly stock. We talked about Blast Zone. All right, so Tony, I think your first donation deck to me had Chandra Awakened Inferno in it, and I was miserable playing this card. Absolutely fucking miserable.
Did I put it in the main board? Did I make you run it in the main?
You put 2 of the main Cutting Defense Grit. Was not a huge fan. It's back. Why is Chandra back in the sideboard?
Right, because even after that was kind of a meme to, you know, have some fun, put it in the main, place a defense grid, whatever. And then for a while I was running it. This is the Epic Ruby Stone, of course. For a while I was running it in the side, and then for a long time I had cut it entirely, because you had kind of convinced me out of it. But now that there is indeed a lot of miracles, I mean, I don't think they really even play much Terminus anyways, but whatever. Bant Miracles, the Bant Control deck. It's very good against them. So now that that's around so much, I mean, if it were just that reason, I don't think it would be worth running, but it does have all sorts of other application.
Okay, so I believe that concludes our deck tech. If you enjoyed this long deck tech with TonyScapone, make sure to subscribe. It's the easiest way of supporting this channel, like Tony is doing right now. Tony submitted a donation deck. Tony, thank you. You're truly the greatest. But subscribing is the easiest way of supporting us, and after that you can like and comment on videos for absolutely free. But if you want to take that extra mile, you can become a member. We've added in some sweet benefits to becoming a member. So now if you become a member, not only do you unlock badges and emotes at our first level, you also get highlighted user profiles in our Discord. You get access to our member lounge in the Discord. And right now you also get access to our brand new and video that we did. So the Legacy Showcase is coming up this weekend. If you become a member right now, you get my deck list for the Legacy Showcase this upcoming weekend. We've already figured out a brand new TES. Go check that out, and you won't regret it. The deck list is super sweet. So you're getting access to member-only videos, and until the end of August, you get all videos early. So if you want early content and secret videos, go become a member. And if you need sideboard guides, check out that middle tier. In the middle tier, you get 50% off a donation deck on top of 2 sideboard guides a month. And then for our Combo Cabal tier, our top tier, you get a free donation deck every single month on top of early videos forever and early deck lists. So make sure to check that out. And Tony submitted a donation deck because Tony's super awesome. And if you want to be like Tony, you can go to theepicstorm.com/donation decks, pick your tier, and Tony submitted an epic tier. So Tony got to be in this video alongside me and explaining his masterpiece, the Epic Gamble. So make sure to go check that out. You can also just go directly to the Epic... Ooh, I clicked the wrong thing. theepicstorm.com/shop. Get your, Storm swag, card singles, and much, much more. We actually only have a single mini token pack left, so it's a race at this point. Whoever gets it, gets it. Not much else to say about that. That's all I have to say before we head to round number 1. Tony, any final thoughts or comments?
No, let's jam.
All right, let's gamble. Welcome to round number 1. I am here with the one and only Tony fucking Scapone, as I like to call him. Tony, look at our opening hand. That's 2 F words this video. I don't know if I can do any more. I might lose my monetization. So we've opened up a hand against an unknown opponent. I would probably keep this hand if I was playing by myself. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a big fan of just the jam turn 1 grid. And think of all the damage we can do to ourselves this game with this Ancient Tomb, the Shattered Skull Smashing. We can do ourselves a lot of damage, and I'm a big fan of that.
Much pain.
No pain, no gain, right? That's the expression?
That's right.
So I think I would just jam grid off the tomb. What do you think?
Yes. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, you can't be...
Ooh, and it resolved?
Instantly.
No respect. Get out of here. You didn't even mulligan? You kept the 7 without a force against me? What were you thinking? All right, so on a serious note, next turn we cannot cast Horn unless we draw some acceleration. Ooh, they're on Urza Echo. Trash deck.
Well, maybe they'll Echo and pass.
The classic Trail 0 in my Urza deck. Clown. So if I was, I think you should front half Burgie here personally, but we don't have to. The problem is that, if you front half Burgie, I guess, we can build towards Wish into, maybe Reforge.
No, Wish doesn't really do much for us as it... we have all these slow-ass land drops. I
mean, if you want, we can just,
I guess we're not
grid.
casting Horn for another 2 turns if that's the case, right?
Yeah, that's why I was tempted to play Burgie, because we don't have any... Burgie's front half. We can also next turn then Wish for Shattering Spree and blow up their artifacts.
This is true. So are they... They don't have, combo kills, right? If 3 cards in hand, how patiently can we take this? Although at the same time, they can't remove Burgi. So now you got me saying Burgi. I always say Burgi, but you're saying it. Yeah, sure. Play it off the. I would play it off the Islet.
Oh, okay. Well, I had already played the
'Cause-
mountain. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I started saying it, and then you played it, and then I had a snarky tone at the end there.
Womp
Oh.
womp.
Then we have the Shatter Skull. Oh, leave it to us to walk into this in the first game.
Yeah, I hate this deck.
I mean, I'm fine with packing it up if you want to. In the card.
Yeah. If you play this deck, you're just a bad person, inside and out. So don't do it. But
100%.
I have no respect for anyone that plays that trash pile. How would you board for this matchup? So they are boarding in forces. I don't know if that means that you leave in grid from your perspective.
I do. I would probably take some number out, maybe 1, just because we can't have too much, non-action, non-mana. At the same time, we are more compact than the Epic Ruby Storm.
So my question for you is, what's worth boarding in? Because when I look at this sideboard, there's not really much I actually would like to board in here.
No, I mean, there's nothing. I mean, not nothing. There's not much that is to be boarded in, But I would probably bring in at least a Blast Zone, because it's one of the only ways we can instantly deal with Hull Breacher.
Okay.
And it is a land, so it is mana in addition to being. You know what I mean? Sharing screen. Do we want the Fragmentize? I don't think it matters too much. I would bring in the Chain Lightning.
Okay.
This Hull Breacher, it knocks down Karn if they minus it.
What would you side out?
Narset. Probably a Looting.
Okay.
It doesn't matter too much.
Anything else?
You'd bring in another Blast Zone.
What do you take out for it?
Let's see, we took out a Looting. Let's take out a Desperate Ritual.
All right, let's see how this goes. So we've opened up double Blast Zone. We do have Metalcraft. But I don't know if this hand does a whole lot, unfortunately.
No.
You can't even relay on 1.
2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'd mulligan.
So this does have a gamble, but unfortunately we can't cast Jusk as well.
Nope.
I'd probably ship this down to 5.
Yep.
Keep.
There we go.
So I think it's actually pretty free here to bottom the 2 red cards, play Defense Grid, and just Echo. They are a 4-stack post board, so it's worth pointing out. Our opponent's taking a mulligan to 6.
Sometimes main board.
Yeah.
These players are, like you said, not good people.
Yeah, that's just a fact. It's not even opinion. It's just like,
no,
it's how it is. All right, so turn 1 grid. Hell yeah. Spin that wheel. Okay. So it's pretty free to play Diamond into Opal. So we can play Chromatic's Imprint, Gamble, and then Ritual, Gamble for Echo. And then depending on what we discard, we could still Looting.
I would gamble. I think I would honestly just gamble for Echo right now, because if it doesn't hit our other gamble, we can gamble for an LED.
Okay.
You could.
But what if you just
make it a 50-50? Like, you can imprint the Looting and then cast the Desperate Ritual and then make the same play.
I like getting the permanent mana source into play, which is why I wanted to play Chromax first. But
yeah, go for it.
Okay. So I'm gonna print the Looting, and then cast Ritual, and then gamble. Get that blue card.
Nice.
So we can't get LED because it would go to the graveyard. I just realized that.
Right. Yeah. All right, just wheel.
Maybe that means that we should have not have played the Desperate, but I think we just win now.
Yes, we do.
And because I want to, I'm gonna play Burgi. Oh, gotta get our girl into play. She deserves it. Turn 1 protected. You'll love to see it. Okay, so we play Chromox, and now we hold control. And it's pretty important because we don't have Storm 20 quite yet. We're going to cast that Tendrils that Tony said comes up all the time. I don't want to make Tony a liar, but I would say this. We could cast Peer into the Abyss here and never need the Tendrils. So Tony, you're not a liar, but I don't know if we needed the Tendrils here. That's my point.
Not here, no.
Leave Grixis floating because Grixis is just a great color combination.
I guess another point is you do kind of want 2 actual win cons. And I think especially now that we have Wish, I think a split of Tendrils and Grape Shot is just strictly better than double Grape Shot.
Okay. I think we just resubmit. I don't know if you have any opinions.
Yeah, run it back.
Nice. If you haven't already, open up the description down below. You will find 7 social media channels in there. Tony's a part of one of them, and that is the Discord. Go check that out. Become a member. It's a great combo community. A lot of awesome conversation happening in there, especially in the Ruby Storm channel. That's one of our most active channels on the Discord. Go check it out. All right. Game number 3. We're on the draw. I think I'd keep this, Tony. So we can play our Shatter Skulls of Mountain. We can play Chromox, imprint Burgi, and then we have 2 gambles to try to hit Lion's Eye Diamond.
Chromox. Yeah. I mean, if they put Chalice on 0, worst case, we can still gamble for LED.
I mean, we don't have an answer to a Chalice on 0, but this, to me, screams that they have Force.
Oh, geez, yeah. LED's not going to do anything in that event.
So I'm going to lead off on the Shatter Skull. I think we just gamble. Go get that diamond. So part of my concern here is that this feels like a hand that... Ooh, we got rid of the pedal. That has Force. So do we next turn try to gamble for defense grid and pass, or do we just jam? I think that we should wait a turn. We can also do it now. We could imprint the Burgi and then gamble now for the grid. That would leave a 33% chance for grid to be discarded. It would be 25% if we waited next turn. So it's 7% difference.
Plus, we're opening ourselves up to what they could do on their turn if we pass. Honestly, I would just go balls to the wall and imprint the Burgi and gamble for another LED and just go.
Okay, if that's what the master wants to do, we can do it. I just have a feeling that if they kept this opener, they have Force. That's what my gut tells me.
Yeah, that's fair.
But we will...
They could have a turn 2 Karn, though.
It's true. It's sort of difficult for them. I guess Soulland Petal could be it. All these pauses.
We could imprint and pass now that we have our 0 in play.
I still think
you would have played the Chromox if you had passed.
Well, even if we're passing, I think that you gamble now because the 7% difference isn't really worth using the mana next turn. I think.
So for the grid.
All right. So are we getting grid or are we getting diamond?
Let's get diamond.
All right.
Because even if we hit grid, it's a lot worse of a... Yeah, of course we...
Okay.
Classic. Let's go.
And they had the Force.
Get wrecked.
Days and Doing. So they're all in on the bad combos.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that if we had hit... oh, yeah, they could have turned to a Hull Breacher if we waited. So I guess... Yeah. I don't know. There was a lose-lose situation. Okay, that's the start of clawing back, I suppose. F6. Okay. You would cast her, right?
Yeah.
We can also block the Hull Breacher if they attack. Like, I think I'd honestly just, like, take the exchange.
Sure.
Yeah, that's right, you coward. Alright. Burning Lash? Hey, called it! So, the question is, what will we get with the Wish here? So, we sided in the Chain Lightning. We could get Grape Shot. We could also just, like, try to play around the Breacher. I don't know how you feel here.
What do you mean play around it?
Like, we could get a relay and try to build up. But I think it's probably just best to get Grape Shot.
Yeah, I would remove it. I don't think... I mean, Grape Shot isn't going to be any better than Chain, right?
Chain's in the deck. We sided it on.
Right. Okay, yeah.
Okay. Let's hope this is good enough.
Not for nothing. Now we can start beating in. Plus, if they play a Karn, we get to threaten it. It's not as good.
So my one concern is if they have another Breacher.
Dun, dun, dun.
Do you want to take the risk and attack?
Yeah, if we were willing to block, then I'd be fine with them blocking with theirs.
Okay, that makes sense. I like that logic. And there it is.
What an asshole.
There's their Days Undoing combo.
Untapped.
Oh, they're gonna hardcast Echo.
Yeah, I think I'm off it.
They're playing a non-stock list. I honestly don't think they're playing Petal and Opal based on how this deck is played out so far.
Yeah. I think I saw this list actually. Didn't it top 8 a challenge recently? Or no, I don't think it topped 8. It was in what's his name? Joe Dyer. He does that article. Oh no, free plug.
Not here.
His, like,
no free plugs here. We charge for our plugs. I mean, I had to lease you the Epic name, so Joe Dyer's not going to get free monetization here. For free plugs.
It was on a spice list somewhere, I will say, this deck list.
In the greater legacy internet.
Hmm.
All right, I'm going to concede here because our opponent's wasting our time. So we're going to start out match number 1, 0 and 1. Tony, I believe in us. I think we're going to get the next 4.
Agreed.
Okay, round number 2. We're on the play. Tony, I think we're going to get this one.
I agree.
Okay, so this seems decent. We have a Chromox. I like just imprinting, looting, and jamming grid on turn 1. What are your thoughts?
I think
the reason I would keep Desperate is I like the extra mana into Echo on turn 2.
Yeah, I like that.
And I think I would play out the... So it's weird, because now with Legacy, you have to choose between, does my opponent have Prismatic Ending or discard on turn 1?
Yeah.
So I think I'd actually hang on to the Diamond.
I did that as well.
Alright, opponent's considering their hand here.
Like there's Chalice and discard, which want you to play it out, but I think Prismatic Ending is more common than both of those combined.
I'd probably agree with that as well. Alright, playing grid. Alright, all that snap resolved. Alright, I think I'm going to jam Diamond, because they're F6'd. I don't think they're an ending deck. If we get bit, we get bit. But I have a feeling that our opponent's on non-blue. Okay, there's Misty. I'm going to eat my hat right now. Okay, Forest. Dirty Elves player. I imagine that Elves is a very good matchup for you. When was the last time you lost to Elves?
It's been a while. Ooh.
Um,
we have a peer, I think.
So
4, 5. No, we're 1 shy.
I think we just spin that wheel.
Yep.
And let's leave at least 1 blue floating, because we can burn up one of this colorless.
Yep.
Okay, so we hit the looting. We can use looting.
Can we Bergie first? If we go Bergie, we go through.
So
we'd be 1 shy. We'd have to hit mana.
No, we can play Bergie and then Petal, which generates a red. We play looting, so you just need +1 mana off looting. So another 0 could do it.
It is risky.
I think we should.
If we don't, then we're do it.
I wasn't gonna let you say no, to be honest, because I'm the one clicking.
Because the Echo isn't very good if we don't do this anyways. So.
Ooh. That kind of stinks. Just pass. They're pretty unlikely to turn to us, even with the turn 1 Heritage Druid. I think that will be fine. All right, Elves player.
So my screen's getting a little bit choppy here. I don't know if there's something quick that I don't want to refresh and kind of.
So right now our opponent is tapping off Forest and hasn't cast anything yet. There's an Allosaurus Shepherd into a Guy's Cradle. Glimpse of Nature.
No, I can see it. I'm just okay. It was quite laggy for a bit there.
All right, so now they have Birch Lore. They can tap for 3 green mana.
That's better.
Wirewood. Okay.
Not as good as 4.
I mean,
so I think we're okay.
So they can bounce an elf, replay an elf. Now bring them back up to 3. Okay, now they have Nettle Sentinel. So it's 3 mana again, but they've used the Symbiote. Okay. And now this Nettle Sentinel represents 1/3 of a green mana for every spell. Another Shepherd. We just need them to draw lands, I think. Because now they have 4 mana. Uh-oh. Green Swing for 1's a good sign. It's them
it is.
Another Symbiote. So it's Symbiote if they need action. If it's mana, they get Nettle Sentinel. So they needed mana, which is kind of interesting. So that means that they still have gas in hand. Another green swing for 1. Okay. So maybe now they get the Symbiote. If they get another Sentinel, we're just dead. Like, they must have the win. Alright, so they got the Symbiote. They have at least 1 land in hand. We know that. Okay. There's the Glimpse. So many elves. Fizzle. Fizzle! Visionary's not a good one. Come on, just have 6 lands in hand. How big of an ask is that? Come on. I just want to give you 7 new cards. For what it's worth, I really do think casting Burgie into looting was the correct play, even if we lose this. Just because your odds of winning went way up if you hit. That's a bummer. We're dead.
Well, plus, even in the event that we flop like this, they're pretty low chance to kill us turn 2.
Yeah.
And then we definitely go off the following turn.
Tip our cap to the opponent. They turn 2 to us. Not super easy for elves to do. That said, we do not need these grids, so those can get out. We might want to leave in like 1 or 2 for a hypothetical mind break, but I'm not even sure if we want to do that.
Yeah, I actually disagree. I run grids in this matchup because the matchup is so good that I leave in somewhere between 2 and 3. It depends on what I'm running, but the matchup is so good that really the only way we lose, unless we lose to ourselves like we just did, is by Mind Break Trap or Force of Vigor.
Okay. So I do like boarding in the 2 blast zones. Hello Newton on Magic Online has advocated for 3 deafening silence for quite a while in Elves. So I think we definitely need the 2 blast zones. So I think Defense Grid is the easiest swap there, in my opinion. I don't know if you have a strong opinion on that.
No.
Okay.
We probably should bring in the Chain Lightning. It does kill Collect Roof, and obviously it's not too bad.
Do you take out the Desperate then?
Yeah, just take one. That's fine.
All right, let's submit. If you are unfamiliar, I'm a part of the Eternal Glory podcast. We released a new episode last week on the Madness deck. It's a pretty silly episode. There's some non-safe for work content in there, just to warn the audience here. But it was a lot of fun. We hadn't recorded in a month prior to that. Go check it out. It was a great episode, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. We're available on all major podcast platforms. That is the Eternal Glory podcast. All right, Tony. We're waiting down for our opponent to very slowly join us. Elves players, am I right? How do you feel about this matchup in general? Like, do you feel like it's like if you lose game 1, are you still feeling good about games 2 and 3?
Yep, because they're kind of forced to dilute their deck post board, so they slow down, which is good for us. We tend to play pretty well through a little bit of discard.
If they're a build that is on Leyline of the Void, do you still feel confident?
We oftentimes sidestep it. I mean, it's feasible. We keep a hand that just eats shit to it, but
okay. So this is interesting. I'm just talking out loud here. We can play Tremont City, Chromox, Imprint Jusk as well, double Opal into a Relay for 5. I mean, it's not the worst, but if that Relay misses, obviously it's a pretty big feel bad. Would you feel better on 6, or do you think that 5 off the top is good enough?
It's tough to say, huh?
I'm sorry, it's 4 off the top. It's 4. Because we have to imprint the, well, my bad.
1, 2, 3, 4, yeah.
I think if the difference between 4 and 5 means small. Yeah.
They're pretty big, yeah. Especially now that Deafening Silence gets played a lot more.
Great hand.
This is pretty good.
Alright, so we're going to bottom the Blast Zone and then just like play straight into that Mind Break Trap.
6. Yeah.
All right, and for those of you that might be watching, you're just thinking like, why don't you just LED and Echo if you're trying to beat Trap? You could do that. The issue with taking that line is that it's kind of the coward's play. Like, you're never getting ahead if that's your line. So I don't necessarily agree with doing that.
Yeah, you'd just be redrawing into... It's already a good hand, so you're redrawing yourself. Wow.
That was bad. What do you think about just like trying to get Echo again?
3. I don't. Only if we can actually cast it next turn, can we?
We're 1
2.
short unless we draw a 0.
I don't think I like that. It sucks we can't even get Relay.
We could get Relay. We have a red open.
Yeah, but we can't. Oh yeah, we can. Yeah, I would get Relay and cast it.
Oh, come on. We should have gotten the Echo. You should have listened to me, Tony. If we had gotten the Echo, we would be winning right now.
We'd be right in the yard right now. Hey, they don't call it the epic gamble for nothing. At least we can kill whatever they play.
Can we? I guess we lose our city, but wait.
Oh,
they don't have a land.
Excellent.
Oh, we're in a cripple fight.
Mulligan, baby.
Do we just pass or do we sack the, like, I don't know.
No, we start playing lands.
Well, I think we play Islet then.
You could play it and crack it. Yeah, just play it.
It's sort of a bummer. Where's our companion? We have all this extra mana. We need something to do. That's what companions are for, right?
We likely have some time here.
Okay.
It's possible they have a Dryad Arbor. Oh, they drew land. Well, now maybe they played... Well, actually, we can't really cast Shatter Skull, can we?
We could burn a Rite of Flame to kill the Dryad Arbor. And then next turn...
No, you can kill both of them. Okay, hold on. 1, 4... I would play Ancient Tomb, Rite of Flame, and just blow up both of their creatures.
Okay. I'm
They
down.
just allowed us to put them right back to where they were.
Boom.
And then we can cast Horn next turn.
Which also turns on our Opal.
Yep.
I imagine our opponent was not very happy with that play. But that was pretty sweet. Main deck removal.
They drew another land.
Okay. So are you worried at all about Force of Vigor here?
No, because we still get 8 cards out of it. Still pretty likely to win if they have it. Just make sure you tap the Opal if they... Well, I don't have to tell you that. Come on. Who do I think I'm talking to?
So you'll notice that I kept the Wish around the audience, not necessarily Tony, because Wish is still an action spell, and we could actually peer if we wanted to.
I wouldn't start casting LEDs, because now if they have Vigor...
Okay, that's fair.
You know...
I'm going to get punished here, but I think if they had it, I don't know.
It wouldn't be a big deal. We'd still just pitch the Wish to our Horn.
We didn't hit mana to cast Wish, so I think we're supposed to discard it.
Yeah. Ooh, so we can Bergie. This is another reason. Stop!
There's no downside. We don't have a hand. They can't force these.
Play Bergie so you can get mana.
Oh, that's fair.
That's
fair.
That's why I didn't want you to play the other ones either with their F6.
All right. So something we could do, and I'm just talking out loud here, is we could use the Act on Impulse ability of Jessica's Will to prolong the Echo, because if they don't have Force, or if they don't have Mindbreaker, Force of Vigor, why give it to them as part of it?
Yeah, I would.
So I'm going to try to burn... It doesn't really matter.
No.
I'm going to add... I'm going to sack a diamond, I think, to cast the Will, because that leaves a blue open.
I would just use all the red anyways.
Yeah. Okay, so we hit Burning Wish. We should be able to peer here. Tony, in your most Boston accent possible, can you please say, peer into the abyss?
Peer into the abyss. I can't say it. I'm laughing.
Love the peer.
I'm like, how do you say abyss with a Boston accent? I don't think that's really a
probably fairly difficult. All right. Peer into the abyss.
I thought you clicked no for a second there. He's living on the edge.
It's just a flex. Like, we're so far ahead that we don't need peer into the abyss.
So if the audience is wondering why didn't you just tendrils them? And it's to play around Veil of Summer. It's free, so why not?
Yeah. All right. Any changes for game 3?
No, I think I'm pretty happy with this.
I will say this, the Gamble version seems a lot faster than the Ruby Medallion version. Like, that's the big takeaway I'm getting from our game so far, is that, like, almost every game 1 so far, or every turn 1 game 1, or I guess it's every game, we theoretically have the potential to win. Where with the Ruby builds, I was pretty confident that I could just, like, not die on turn 1 and take a setup turn. At least playing the combo mirror, I was always like, yeah, I'll get a turn 2.
Yeah, certainly a lot more frequently. I think my turn 1 percentage was on a pretty large, well, not too, like 50 matches or so. Sample size was like 18.75%. And now we're at about 35.
Almost double. So this hand is not very good. I'm not going to allow us to heap this trash fire. I think we should chip this. So even if you drew, hypothetically, a Lotus Petal, you could Desperate Ritual into Jessica's Will, but, like, this is only going to make 5 mana. Like, so you're going to relay for 4? Like, that's just not good enough.
Yeah, with 1 permanent in play.
Why don't we have a red source?
Ship it.
Sad. Okay. I think we bottom Ancient Tomb and...
So this...
Jessica's Will?
If that Chromox was a petal, we'd have a peer. Well, assuming they had 6 or 7 cards, but... Yeah, Ancient Tomb...
I guess we can keep the... We can bottom Gamble, because no matter what, we have access to Echo via Wish, so it's better to bottom the Gamble. Because if we hit a red card, we could cast Jessica's Will first, making mana, so it's just better to bottom the Gamble. There's basic maths.
Are difficult? Was that the end of that?
I don't know. Alright, Leyline of the Void. Okay, so we could still hypothetically reforge or maybe even peer. But it's worth noting that this Leyline is a card out of their hand, so just Jessica's Will does make less mana now. Once Upon a Time, Wirewood Symbiote. Okay. And they have the Thoughtseize too? What a jerk. I wonder if they take the diamond or the wish.
Or even the Chromox.
Yeah, I guess they could take Chromox as well. Maybe we'll look out and they'll just take the disc as well.
People do it.
Alright, so they took Chromox. Ooh!
Got him.
So we could actually empty for 10. I don't hate it.
That's fine. They're on 3 cards.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like I think empty for 10 actually beats them.
Sounds good to me.
This is what you get for taking my Chromox. The disrespect. The disrespect. Or is it empty? I'm just glad we're making goblins. That's what I'm here for.
Right? Turn 1 goblins for 10 on a Multa 5 through a Leyline Thoughtseize.
So I don't know if you remember this. There was a bug with Magic Online where whenever you emptied, they were swaps. You remember this?
No.
Well, it was like for 2 days, and during that time period, they decided to change the goblin art. It went from being the 10th edition goblin art to whatever this was. I think this was like the Rabblemaster goblin or whatever, but I am deeply upset they got rid of the goblin from 10th because I love that art. I feel betrayed. Like, no one likes this goblin art. Like, the one from 10th is classic.
Were you happy with Swamps?
I mean, swamps are cool. I got some cool screenshots out of it. And goblins got there. That's what you get. Discard my Chromox. So, Tony, we're now 1-1. What do you think our final record will be?
4-1.
All right. If we don't, I'm going to take back my license for Epic. It's just going to be the gamble. All right, everyone. We'll see you in match number 3. All right. We're 1-1. Round 3. Unknown opponent. They've taken a mulligan. I'd probably keep this if I was playing on my own. What do you think?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3. It makes 4 mana. It's close. We're on the draw, so we're gonna get an extra card. Yeah, sure.
Like, even like if you don't win on turn 1, you still have a pretty high probability of doing something on turn 2. All right. Let's find out what our opponent's playing.
On the deck's average, I'd say it's medium.
Death and Taxes.
Hands,
okay.
but...
All right, so we have Relay and Shatterskull. It's unfortunate there's no mana in the board. So we could turn 1, Tomb, Chromox, and print Wish, right? Relay for 3? I mean, it's not the greatest. We could also just pass. We could Burning Wish for Chain Lightning preemptively. But I guess we have the... I mean, it's 4 mana then to kill.
2, 3, 4... Could also Burning Wish for Reforge.
Can't cast it this turn though. Like if we're gonna preemptively use Burning Wish, I think that we should probably get Chain for Thalia. But also, like if we take that line, we're losing Storm for Relay next turn too.
I guess I'd Relay. I mean, this is one of the reasons that the hand was a little bit medium. I want to say Relay.
I didn't print Wish. I imagine you agree.
Yeah, a Tomb.
All right, let's see some good ones. Land, Lion's Eye Diamond, Lion's Eye Diamond. Let's go. Okay, we hit 1 diamond. I'm not going to complain with that. That is fine by me.
Very good. It's got to be Thalia, right? I mean, why else would they keep this hand? Hopefully they're just on the port plan.
That's interesting. Okay, so they're not classic Death and Taxes.
I don't think they are Death and Taxes at all. I think it's... Is it Stacks?
Could be.
Do they play port?
Could also be like a Chalice and Taxes build.
Stacks, which is awkwardly fine for us.
We can echo here.
Yeah, like
ding.
That was pretty good.
Honestly, I think that we should probably looting, but we don't have to because like we will be shuffling. But
post Burning Wish.
I'm gonna play the city. It's just like free to do it.
Yes, cast Rite of Flame. Think we should looting.
It's fair. We could save it for post echo.
Oh, I wasn't counting the extra mana from Rite of Flame.
It's still only 6. It's not 7. I did that math.
Right. No, I'm just saying in terms of looting or not. But I think this is... Either way is fine.
Let's go. This is where we get forced.
OP probably felt pretty safe with Tangle White. Yeah, we get forced.
All right. So they have 7 now. We can just as well for a lot of mana. Let's cast this. Why isn't it letting me cast? Okay. Keep that blue floating. So this is going to bring us up to 8 mana, 9 with Petal, but none of it's black. So if we wanted to, we could risk gamble for diamond, or we could just cast looting first, because this doesn't remove a card from hand anyway. So I think I'm inclined to just looting.
You probably might as yeah, sure.
Like kind of free. Like we have the Shatter Skull we don't want. Honestly, I don't know if we're gonna end up casting Galvanic this turn, but it's also like a pretty low opportunity cost to keep it. So
Now they're
Opal
dead.
gives us
Black, the double black that we need.
and the Tendies is actually coming up here. I think we'd probably win this game if we kept playing like the hard way, but why bother when we just have Tendrils?
I think we had like a get Echo and cast Reforge line somewhere in there, but
You just want to draw 7 the entire game.
of course I do.
All right, get out of here, Stacks. It's the year 2021 and you're over here playing Tangle Wires? Come on.
Right.
It's not even good enough for Vintage Cube. All right, so we can get rid of these. I like bringing in the Blast Zones. Is there any other change you would make? If we wanted to, we could board in the one Fragmentize over a grid. I don't know if these decks play Trap, so like sort of free. You could also like maybe board in the 4th Relay, but I don't know if that's a change you actually want to make. Could board in the Chandra.
I don't think I love Chandra, because we're going to be heavily taxed on our mana.
I like that it's literally just a card that imprints. That's part of my rationale.
Fair. I would just cut the grids and play a Fragmentize, or at least one of them for. I'd play a Fragmentize over a grid. I guess it's nice to have one in case it's like free to like try and get it and play it.
Okay. Submit that.
Oh,
We're going to draw 7 town.
we're gonna yeah, we're gonna Bergie into it.
Honestly, I really hope that they Chalice on 1 and then we kill them through Chalice on 1. That's what I'm rooting for here.
So this is dangerously close. So we're on the draw. It's possible, like, if you play Horn and draw 7, you just win. So just like you always want to check for lethal, you also don't want to tunnel vision into draw 7 hands if you just
Okay.
Horn prior to.
We can beat that. I'm actually not too concerned with that. We just need to slow it down a little bit. And I'm going to play out the Opal, which might seem a little strange, but if they for some reason Ratchet Bomb us here, I'd rather have Diamond in hand than in my graveyard. Alright, so now the opponent's coming with a Flagstones. Another Sphere, okay. Not the end of the world. We do have 2 Blast Zone in our deck.
Do we... 1, 2, 3, 4... I mean...
So what I was thinking is it's like kind of free to play Diamond here because it turns on the Opal, and then we could gamble for Blast Zone.
The only
we can't play Burgie. You just don't have enough mana. That would cost 7 mana. We didn't have 7. So are you good with the get Blast Zone line?
You mean Horn?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I wasn't considering Horn. I was considering Bergie. But yeah.
Blast Zone.
Yeah, wait, we could get Burning Wish because. Or do we not have enough red? Because Shattering Spree is... Like, the problem with Blast Zone is they probably play Wasteland, so we do have to open up to that. Whereas Burning Wish, we have the same chance of, like, oh, if our Burning Wish gets hit, okay, obviously that'd be bad. We Burning Wish, we can...
So, I guess, like, my concern is that the Burning Wish line, if we think about this, so there's a chance we discard the Burgie to gamble. I'd actually be looking to imprint the Burgie, and the next turn we would need red on top. So I guess we would have to sack the Petal if we didn't imprint this. Where if we get Blast Zone, we don't have to worry about color requirements at all. It's also possibly a turn faster, if not the same speed. Okay, that worked out well. Like, it's just that if you get the Burning Wish line, you're so reliant on keeping both Burgie and the Chromox, in my opinion. Are they playing Armageddon? I think they're playing Armageddon. So I just want to think this through. We can add a counter onto Blast Zone. We don't have enough mana to play the front half of this then. I'm just going to pass. I think this literally means that they're playing Armageddon.
I think we got him here.
Love paying life to add counters. You ready to Fire Blast yourself? Love it.
Oh, 3 of a kind.
So we're going to destroy some artifacts here. Not our own, because that would be bad. I like playing the front half of Burgie here.
Yes, 100%. Yep.
And then going to draw 7 town. What's kind of nice is if our opponent happened to have it, this line also beats Mindbreak Trap.
Yep.
Alright, let's make our free red mana. That Blast Zone was super cool. That made this league for me. This, so we could play
This
Tomb.
is.
We
I
should be
would
able
go
to play the back half
Tomb,
here.
Jessica's Will, Horn. Yeah, just play Horn with the least cards possible, and then I would ditch like land, relay, and looting.
Yeah, keep the diamond in the relay last.
Yeah,
4 mana floating is also a lot.
and that's game.
I guess we could get an Echo. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I would just dump it all or whatever.
Cast Entomb. So I know that you. I'm going to choose my words carefully here. Are particular about the cards that you play from the Horn and shuffling back in. Are you against playing out this mana before you Echo?
No, I'm not against it.
I don't know if it really matters. But
No, the biggest reason is for mana efficiency, because you always have to be thinking if Bergie isn't in play. There's also, that's the biggest thing to consider. Like usually when you have a pile of cards and Bergie's not in play, a pile of cards in exile, you just go LED Bergie and then. So you want to refrain from just like dropping random zeros.
Oh, I need to pay a blue. Reading's tough. I didn't learn when I was in school.
So reading's tough, math is tough. How do you do it?
I don't. I pay other people to do it for me. All right, discard the Horn. I just memorize what all cards do. That's why I play with Japanese cards. That way I don't have to read. Okay, just love discarding cards to Horn. Also, it feels like cheating when you have both halves in play. Like, it's just not fair. We should probably kill our own Bergie, so that way, like, this game's a little more balanced.
I tell you, this is so much fun to do in paper, just saying over and over again, activate.
All right, we can just end the game now. No showboating. All right, let's cast the Burning Wish.
You could wish first for grid.
I technically could. They could pay for grid, though.
Well, you could also then...
I'm just going to chicken tendies
flip
them.
some more cards to get the other grid.
We still have 2 more rounds to go. It's 10:30. I'm going to fall asleep soon.
Yeah, usually, in all seriousness, the play is like kill you, and then if they for some crazy reason trap it, it's like we do have the grape shot, and then we can do those other things and then grape shot them.
Yeah. All right, so we're 2-1 so far. Tony's prediction of 4-1 is still true. There's 2 rounds left to go. Don't go anywhere. Match 4 with the legendary TonyScapone. Tony, I imagine you want to be on the play. That's how Magic works.
Of course. Let's do this.
All right, so I think that this hand's great. We can turn 1 Jessica's Will into grid, gamble for Echo. Like, this hand's just bananas. We're keeping this. Oh, no, it's not turn 1. It's a turn 2. My bad.
Yeah.
So I think I like turn 1 city grid. And I think I'm just going to pass. No need to play out the diamond. Yak.
Excellent.
Maybe it's elves.
Everything I'm seeing here.
It's elves. I guess it could be Cloud Post. Oh, that was delightful. Alright, so they have 6 cards. Is there something we could get here to win even harder with this gamble? Another diamond, maybe?
Yeah, you can either get another diamond or you can...
I like Horn.
Yeah, we win the game.
I mean, winning's pretty cool, right?
It's alright.
If you're into that sort of thing.
Right.
I mean, I don't know anyone who likes winning.
Did know somebody at one point.
Oh, that's a pretty good start. Hey-oh!
As if, drawing 14 weren't good enough.
I think we just win.
7.
We just
7.
I know that you really, really love and get a lot of enjoyment out of drawing your entire deck, but we just have lethal. I'm gonna speed this up.
Right. If there's lethal with a grid in play.
See, I think that's the real reason to not play Tendrils, because like this isn't as nearly as fun. Like you just took away all the enjoyment out of the deck. Have you considered being more miserable? I guess that's my question.
I have, actually.
Okay. See, like that wasn't like we could have drawn all 45 cards that were left in the deck.
You could have. Well, why didn't you?
So, I think, at least I believe our opponent's on Cloud Post. They're a deck that boards into 4 copies of Trap. I like leaving in all 4 grids, but then I like boarding in Blast Zone because they're a deck that tries to beat you using Needle on your Horn. So I'd probably board out a Desperate Ritual here, and then maybe a Looting.
I'm fine with that.
Alright, let's do it live. Cloud Post players always take a really long time to sideboard. That's just a fact. It's not opinion. It's just like the truth.
One of the things I like about this list is since we don't have many cards that we plan on boarding in at any point, it makes for pretty quick boarding.
You could like charge for a sideboard guide and then just have it be like no sideboarding, no sideboarding. This one card, no sideboarding, no sideboarding.
Right.
If that last one was a mountain, maybe. But
I will say, in paper, it's a nightmare. Like figuring out, because we have obviously so many cards that we wish for and that we bring in post board. It all gets jumbled up. You might want to have your sideboard written out.
That's my everyday life, Tony. This hand's pretty good. So what do we bottom? I think it's City of Traders.
This hand is very good.
So it's City of Traders and one other card. So Grid
City
actually gives us Metalcraft
Bergie.
for the Opal. Yeah.
This is a grid into Echo.
Yeah.
On a 5-card hand.
It's good if you're into that kind of thing, you know, but
Right.
like the possibly winning the game on turn one sort of thing through a Mind Break Trap. That's fine.
Yeah.
Endurance is definitely Cloud Post. Ooh, they have a Mind Break. That's the only reason for keeping such a trash hand. Yeah, enjoy that defense grid. All right, and I think we're just gonna play out the Chromox. There's no reason not to. Like it's plus Storm.
Well, do we want to redraw it is the question. And since we're echoing with no mana, or no, it keeps further opals turned on. Okay, I'm sold.
Now we cast Entomb for Faithless Looting, right?
Yeah.
Red Entomb, the Epic Entomb, T.
Bang.
All right, so we did not hit another accelerant here, and it doesn't really matter if you play Diamond or not, if I'm being honest. But we do have this Relay. They don't play anything for 1 mana to blow it up. I think we just pass, and they're not going to be able to force a Vigor on our next turn, or even trap because they don't play, you know, Tri-lands.
I suppose they could have thought not seared us.
And now we just get to peer.
Yep.
Easy game. I guess we can 4-1 this league if we keep on getting opponents that don't interact with us. Pretty free.
It didn't really matter if they were ready to interact with us here.
That's true. I just meant like a tougher matchup like Delver or something.
Yeah. Well, I guess, yeah, interacting. You can interact with Grid in the first place.
All right, 23 cards left. We can probably relay the rest of our deck away once we're close. I mean, that just sounds like good, honest fun. But where's that Burning Wish? We should probably just end the game.
We could smashing for, what is it, like 11 or 12 it has to be?
Does it target players?
No. I mean, it's up to, so you can cast it if you want. You know how, like, if you split it amongst 2 targets or whatever, it has to be over, I don't know, the card is worded so strangely.
All right,
And
so
basically
let's
means
look
you
at this.
can't cast it for 6. You can't cast it for between 6 and 11.
Okay. But I mean, it's still only creatures or planeswalkers. We don't have a target.
Yeah, but it's up to.
Yeah.
Up to.
Oh, so you just don't target anything? Gotcha. For some reason, I was thinking
Right.
that you meant target the opponent. I was like, no, that doesn't work. My bad.
Although I don't think you can sink mana into it if you're not targeting.
I don't know. But 1 round left to go. We'll see you there. The 5th and final round with TonyScapone, the Ruby Master, or the Gamble Master. Tony, we're on the draw against an unknown opponent. What are your thoughts on this hand? It can turn 1 Echo, and it can, even if we draw a land, have it be protected. To me, that means it's probably a keep.
I would keep it. It's a little bit risky, but it's pretty darn good, and it has a pretty good chance of being absolutely busted.
Okay, so they're an island deck.
Depending on what we draw, it might be worth displaying some patience. Not that we're into that sort of thing.
Gotta live fast and die hard, right? That's the rules. So we can actually, I think we jam. I think we go pedal, right, ritual, grid, all that good stuff.
There's an argument to... No, there isn't.
I guess in theory, if you don't want your Jessica's ritual to get forced, you could just grid. But
Yeah, you could grid here. And then gamble and LED.
I want to go big.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
Ooh. Give me that mana. That juicy mana.
So juicy.
They're going to force this now. They thought Jessica's will was fine. I remember my first time playing Magic. Alright, so they did have the force. We're now going to entomb and give the force deck a brand new hand.
Yeah, but now we're going to draw a double grid.
Well, one of them's been removed, so there's only 3 left. You lied to me.
Oh, you're right.
You lied to me. You said that we would draw a double grid.
I did.
All right, so I think we should impulse here.
I think it might be worth just looting first.
Sure,
Well,
it's fine.
yeah.
That was good. This
Shatter
is,
Skull and Chromox.
it's definitely Chrome Mox. We don't need Storm anymore. I guess it's easier to draw a land off Jessica's Will if we need to. Let's start on the ritual. So part of me wonders if we cast the Jessica's Will as mana to see if they'll force it this time.
I would, right, yeah. I would do mana first, because if they don't, yeah.
If they force it, they're just likely dead. So now we can do this as act on impulse, because if we hit the other grid, we have protection for the Burning Wish.
7, 8, 11. Yeah, if we hit a grid, we can grid into Pier. Well, they'll just be dead. We have 14 Storm.
All right, so we've gotten game number 1 through a force. You'll love to see it.
On turn 1.
Also, just because we're already at Storm 17, you know what I'm going to do here.
Get them at the grapes.
I love Grape Shot. And if you love Grape Shot, make sure you use your Grape Shot emotes in the comment section down below. Spam some shots. All right. Cast this wish. Turn 1 through a force. That's what you get for not forcing my Jessica's Will. How dare you? Put some respect on my name. All right. So unknown blue opponent. We don't know if it's Delver or Control. I think regardless, we're boarding in Blast Zone.
No, we know. They pitched an Ice Fang.
Oh, I missed that. Okay, so that's pretty good info. How do you feel about just boarding out 2 Desperates?
So this is Control. So the 2 Blast Zone you put in. We put in Chandra as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I usually remove some mana. I wouldn't get rid of them all. The thing is, like, Chromox is really bad against Prismatic Ending.
Yeah, but it's still it's an initial red source, and it's your artifacts for Opal. Like, I think it's just part of the glue of the deck.
Yeah.
If you wanted, you could board out a looting and keep 1 Desperate.
I've done that before as well. I keep wavering back and forth what I want to pull out. In the end, it doesn't matter too much because it's only a couple cards difference.
Yeah, I just think that this card's lower impact than a looting. Like, if we really need to get an Echo out of hand, I'd rather have more lootings personally. But that's just me. All right, let's jam. Peanut butter and jam. I know that drawing the Desperate that game won us the game on turn 1, hypothetically. But I don't know. I don't think we need it. So this is sort of interesting. We can turn 1 front half Burgie. I just don't think that's good enough, though. I think that we're supposed to ship this despite having the Blast Zone.
You can also pass the turn and just put Echo into the yard.
We could do that. Do you want to do that?
Is the hand resilient to hate? We don't really have land drop, so not playing too much of a long game. I'm fine with mulling. I'm fine with this.
Okay. So I think I'd bottom the right. Like, we just have a lot of mana here, so I don't think...
Yeah, sure. You can make land drops.
We just need to draw into something that does something and red mana. Okay, so maybe Delver. Or Omni, actually? This could be Omni. But, I don't know. Like, I guess it could be Bant, but, like, it feels like Omni.
So most people know that I'm not too happy with no red source hands, but having land drops and having Blast Zone against a control matchup like this, I feel pretty good about it. I'm happy about this relay.
Alright, so it is control. Alright, well, we have the Blast Zone. So I think we play the Blast Zone now.
Yeah.
Because then we're not losing our city on the following turn. Imagine being a control player and just getting blown out by Blast Zone. So if something they could do is if they had a back to basics, they could play back to basics right now, lose their Trop. I'm just going to be lazy and do this now. But it would keep us off from blowing up the Null Rod.
Yep.
Okay, so they're going to play Uro, miss their land. I mean, these Blast Zones seem good. I'll be honest, I'd be pretty interested in the third one. But here we're just going to pass. Next turn we can relay for a bunch.
We can relay right now.
3.
Or I'm sorry. I'm
so when I did the math in my head, we only had 2 mana.
Mm-hmm. I just haven't been looking at the screen for like the past almost minute, so I forgot about Null Rod. Just like scratching my arm and listening.
All right, so we have 1 floating here. Get rid of that Null Rod. I mean, geez, I should be playing Blast Zone.
Out of here, right?
I have 2 Japanese foils. Like, why not? Let's go. All right, so I think we start on Chromox because that's the key card in this hand. The question then becomes, do you imprint the Bergie or the looting? I think it's pretty clearly the looting because this is an action spell in case things go awry with the relay.
Yep. It's tempting to Bergie first, but it just gives them an opportunity to counter.
Yeah.
I'd rather just get early relay while it's good.
Also, like, I think this card is just a lot more valuable as Horn. So, in theory, if our opponent has Flusterstorm here, we can sack a diamond and pay, or sack 2 diamonds and pay. We will lose the Bergie, but that's just worth it to me. Alright, they're resolving. Opal. Grid, that's a good one. Diamond. We didn't need diamond for double grid. Hell yeah.
Double grid's
That was
good.
a really good relay.
Wow.
Alright, opponent, what do you have? I love Galvanic Relay. Card is so sweet.
It is.
I know that Tony is one of the few other believers in Relay when it first came out. I want to say it was myself, Tony, and Jax in the Storm Discord that were the only people that thought it was potentially playable. A lot of naysayers. And Endurance coming down. You had a 3/4 flash. Congratulations. Ooh. So Horn is still an artifact, I'd like to point out.
Yep.
So wonder what lines we can take on our turn to win the game.
What's nice is we can play out actually everything.
I just want to think through this real quick. So they have 3 cards in hand. We can tap city, play grid, play land. The city dies, play opal, play horn.
You don't want to play the land if you don't have to. 2, 4, 5, 6.
If that's the case,
Okay, so you do have to.
Otherwise we can just jam horn and not worry about a force. That's the other option.
How many cards? 3? We haven't even seen a force yet, right?
Yeah, that's why I like playing the grid.
I agree.
All right, so we can also do a little bit of setting up here. So it's going to be tough, but we can Burning Wish for either Echo or Fragmentize, depending on how we're feeling. My problem with getting Echo, and I mean...
I would get Shattering Spree so you can put multiple copies
on
Canonist.
Yeah, that works.
Although, no, I'm sorry, we're gonna have double grids. Well, they have 5 lands in play.
So what I was going to say was the upside of getting Echo is that you'll be guaranteed, like, you're going to draw 7, but then, like, your outs are to cast 2 more spells, so, like, they're going to have quite a bit of time here, and we're at 11, so I think you're just, like, priced into getting Shattering Spree.
Yeah.
And then, like, hope that your horn hits next turn. But all it needs, like, you have 3 Echo still in the deck, you have 3 Gamble still in the deck, you have Jessica's Wills, Burning Wish, Wish. There's a lot of cards to hit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and they hit land 6, so they will be able to force now. We're taking 5. That's going to put us to 6. So our window's closing. What is this? All right, so the force is down now. They won't be able to force. Let's say
that's actually really good for us.
They could have a card in hand that I'm almost terrified to say out loud right now. Pass the turn so I can say it. It rhymes with rigor.
Yeah, they could just hard cast it.
Yeah. Okay. They did not have
They
force
didn't
of
do
vigor.
anything?
They
didn't
did
even
not
play Uro? Did they not realize there's 2 grids? You don't have to double up.
That's true.
Since they can't force.
But what if I wanted to blow up our own stuff?
Yeah, you could.
All right, so something we could do is play out Islet and then sack it to draw, which seems crazy, but it also lets you look 1 card deeper into the deck for a business spell.
It does, yeah.
So I think that's worth it, at least in my opinion.
It might even be worth cracking an LED prior to it as well. Because if you hit Jessica's Will, you're going to want to cast it instead of flipping it.
I mean, we could still cast it. We have Tomb, Chromox, and Opal. You wouldn't be able to cast... What are the action spells?
Horn, but we already have it, so... Yeah, so it doesn't matter.
And I'm going to tap the Chromox.
We're dead either way, if we have to pass.
Didn't hit.
All right, so we did see a card deeper.
Okay, so we can Shatter Skull now to stay alive, too. But instead, let's start off by just casting Jessica's Will and getting a little bit deeper into the deck. Would you tap the Ancient Tomb here?
Let's see, we have 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3... Yeah, because I think we're going to have to, regardless.
Okay, so now we're going to Will. Hey, that allows us to hard cast Echo.
Got it.
I guess so, we don't need to. We can just Entomb for Echo.
either way.
Ayo.
GG. GG, OP. And there's nothing to worry about.
So I do think, and I mean, it was a really small decision we made this turn.
Wait. Okay, never mind. Because we don't have lethal in our hand, but we do have horn. So.
I was just going to echo again.
But yeah, we have another guy.
I'll be honest, I was just going to play the mana and echo again, because, like, why not? It's the last game of the league.
Do it. What are you saying? Sorry.
But, like, we made a really small play of deciding to crack the land for an extra spell. And, like, I think that stuff adds up.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, it was a really small percentage play, but that theoretically got us that extra look that won the game. Okay. Play out the diamond. And now we can just send our opponent home. Any thoughts that you have as we wrap up this league, Tony? Or any shout-outs, plugs, etc.?
Thoughts. Let's see. I wish we didn't have to deal with that asshole in the first round.
Language. Language.
No, he deserves it, doesn't he? Or they deserve it. Do they not?
They're not playing a great deck, I'll say.
So you toned it down now.
I mean, I've said my piece at this point. I just don't think we need to beat the dead horse. So 4-1's pretty good. Let's go back to the deck list. I mean, I still don't love the Desperate Ritual. We talked a little bit about that before we went live, but it did have one spot this league where it was good. I also think that either of the other cards I suggested would have been just as good in that spot. But I thought the deck worked really well. I loved the Blast Zone. I wasn't as warm on Fragmentize, but the Blast Zones really impressed me.
Yeah, that's how I felt about the card. I've started off as a 1-of split with that and Engineered Explosives, and then I went up to 2, and for a bit I was playing 3. Like I said, I'm playing with Fragmentize. We'll see where that goes, but I might wind up back on 3 Blast Zone. We'll see.
Yeah, I think the only thing I don't like about Blast Zone is that it doesn't hit zeros, but I don't think that's a huge, like, you can't blow up a Chalice with it. But it's...
Yeah, but we use what's it called for that? Shattering Spree anyways.
Yeah. All right. Any final plugs? Where can they find you? Where can the fans find the one and only TonyScapone?
Well, I got the same name for, my YouTube, Twitch. Basically, if you were to Google TonyScapone, all one word, you'll find all of my stuff. But yeah, you can find me on Twitch where I stream. You can find my YouTube. Just search on YouTube TonyScapone and you'll find me.
We'll also put those links in the description. So if you open up the description, you will find Tony's YouTube and Twitch. All right, Tony, thank you for joining us. Thank you for submitting a donation deck. This league was a blast. I had a lot of fun. I feel like I learned a little bit too. Blast Zone is just a really good card in this deck. Next time I play...
Was the pun intended?
Next time I play... it wasn't intended, but that's a good one. Next time I play Ruby Storm, there will definitely be Blast Zones in it. That's for sure. All right, everyone, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and keep storming. Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.